Hey, thank you everybody for joining us. I am actually starting a new segment which I'm going to be including in the weekly and the daily newsletter. Every Friday, I'm going to be highlighting a new streamer of the week. The reason behind this is because not only do I want to support our community, but I want to introduce people to the individuals behind the mic who are actually putting themselves out there, who are creating these shows, building these platforms for people to come on here and share their stories and come on here and make an impact on somebody else through what it is that and what she does now is pretty incredible for those who aren't connected. First inaugural streamer of the week, Miss DeeJae DuRante. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this. I love the fact that you took the time out to let me at least interview you for this. So I wanted to start out with just a few questions so people get more familiar with you. So we're going to start out with a little bit about how would you describe yourself to everybody who's unfamiliar with you and learning about you for the very first time?
Okay, absolutely. I'm DeeJae. I am a mental health, disability, and trauma advocate. I love talking about issues like that. I have a social services background, and eventually I just found Gabe and I saw what live streaming was all about, and I had this kind of like itch for blogging and podcasting. But when I figured out what live streaming was, I was like, I knew that was the route I had to take. I knew that's the way I wanted to go. So it's just the engagement part of it, and being able to be in real time with individuals has been absolutely mind-blowing. So fun.
Nice. So that kind of rolled into the next question. What were your first recollections of wanting to become a streamer? What was the thing that kind of became the genesis of saying, I'm going to hop behind the camera and do this?
Yeah, I can remember it's been about a good year since I jumped on LinkedIn, and given my disability background working with job seekers, I naturally was drawn to LinkedIn to try to find some resources, and I found so much more. I found resources for myself, and then I just started figuring out what live streaming was, and I knew that these conversations were really important, and I wanted these conversations to have out in the open with individuals. I wanted to highlight other stories. I wanted them to share what they've been through so other individuals can relate. Other individuals can say, hey, that's me too, and just really build a community where everyone has a little bit sense of feeling like they're part of that, and that there are no differences, and that we can embrace those with differences as well. There's ways of,
Nice.
like helping others.
That's right. They've actually virtually building relationships with people. That's a actual real thing for those who haven't experienced it yet, who are starting their journeys. So love that you've done that. And just kind of rolling into the next question, I know this is going to have to do with me, but I'm going to ask all the streamers who come along this is one of the questions. But who are your major influences in developing your own show?
There's three primary ones that were like the kickstarters to all this, and you were definitely one of them, Gabriel. And then of course Travis Lochner, amazing, and then of course Nick. Just the three of them, watching them interact and just have their best selves out there, and just still being fun and talking about whatever that they really wanted to talk about, and not necessarily falling into talking about the traditional topics that you hear on LinkedIn, really inspired me to be able to talk about what I was passionate about, which was really breaking stigmas and talking about the things that we're told we shouldn't be talking about. Why not? Why aren't we talking about those things? They're so important. That's who we are.
Exactly. And you went right into the next question. This is, I love this. This is tells you how much of a pro. We didn't practice this, folks. So this is us going into this. So what made you want to be an advocate for for disability, for traumas, and kind of champion awareness and acceptance? Because that's a very big cause to put out there.
Again, I've worked in social services for over 20 years. I've worked in the front lines. I've worked with individuals with disabilities, mental health issues, been through different kinds of traumas, kids in the welfare system, and seeing so many different people go through really difficult and have constant barriers in their life. And for me, just having this space and having the gift to find live streaming and being able to put my passion into something and really create something for everyone else has been, for me, just absolutely like a blessing. I don't know where I can't believe that the opportunity actually has been that welcomed, but it's really nice to know that there are others that really find it beneficial.
Yes. And again, here we go. This is working perfectly into what we're talking about. What advice would you give a new live streamer starting out on their journey who wants to see what you're doing, see what I'm doing, and get behind the camera themselves? What advice would you give someone wanting to start that journey?
I would say find streamers that you can relate to, that have attributes that you find in yourself, and stick to them. Watch them, learn from them, take notes, implement things that they do, and put little pieces of that into who you are without losing who you are and naturally what your message and what really is what you want to talk about, I guess, is not, don't bend for someone else. Don't give in, but and be consistent. I know people always say that, but it's true. Just showing
That is so. Rolling into our final question for the interview. So, what are, going into 2022, your continued mission and your goals for the upcoming year? Because it's only a few weeks away, folks, if you're not prepared. So just let you know.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. I really do love this time of year. For me, it's really important. So I cannot wait for the new year. Me too. I really have visions of really putting myself out there, overcoming my own fears, overcoming my own boundaries, overcoming my own limited thinking. And I'm going to keep working forward to continue live streaming with my show and continuing to amplify voices that really need that assistance. I want to go into remote producing, and I'm really going to be tackling that and working to continue to help other organizations and individuals that really have those messages related to mental health and disability and really want the type of support. So I look forward to 2022. I'm going to be doing some collabing, and I'm also working on another project.
Ooh.
I got a lot of things. Yeah.
And be prepared for it. It's becoming something. It's going to be very special in 2022. LinkedIn is pushing this a lot. So I think we've positioned ourselves in very good places as creators, and for us to not only use it, but take advantage of it to reach out and achieve a lot of those goals that we've set for ourselves. Okay, thank you, DeeJae, so much for taking the time and having this interview. I also want to thank everybody who's watched it. I will be back next week with a new live streamer of the week. But for this week, it's going to be DeeJae DuRante. Thank you so much for doing this. Until next time, everybody, just take care, stay safe, stay blessed, and have a good one. Bye, everybody.